can join us via YouTube. I'm almost there. I'm almost on YouTube. Yeah, it's loading. I do not want anyone to miss out. Some people might not be able to access YouTube, might not be able to access Zoom. So I want them to be able to access YouTube. Trying to copy and paste it. I'm almost there. I just need to copy and paste this YouTube link in the group, and then I will start. I'm almost there, please. I apologize. I just do not want anyone to miss out. So I'm trying to share the YouTube link. That's what I'm working on, please. I'm almost there, please. My network is crawling. I don't understand. Okay, my slide is ready. I sincerely apologize for the back and forth here and there, and I'm glad that you're still patiently waiting. Thank you so kindly. So I will go straight into it because we have wasted quite a number of minutes. So good evening, everyone. My name is Olubukola R.B. Agbalaya. I believe you can all hear me. And I welcome you to the Elevate Your Diction webinar. So quickly, I'd like you to get a pen, a book, and water. I also have water here. It's going to be a long night, but of course, an interesting one and valuable one. So get a pen, get a book, and water. Tonight, I will share with you a 3-step formula that will enhance your diction. Now, what exactly is diction? A lot of people don't even know what diction means. Some people think it's phonics, so we mix it up. We have different idea of what diction is. Diction simply means how you speak a language. So when you speak a language well, in terms of how you pronounce the words clearly, or maybe you pronounce it wrongly or you mumble, you have a particular diction. So it's either you have good diction for a particular language or you have bad diction. So when you mumble or you mispronounce your words, we say you have bad diction. But when you pronounce the word in a particular language correctly, the way it should be pronounced, then we say you have good diction. So tonight we will learn 3-step formula that would help enhance your diction such that you start to pronounce words in English correctly without changing your accent or sounding fake. Now, a lot of people, when they learn diction, the next thing they start to do is to sound fake or sound like someone else. That is not the goal of elocution, or that is not the goal of diction. The goal of diction is for you to sound like yourself. Excuse me. It's to sound like yourself, but sounding better, the way you should sound in that particular language. So I will wait a second again to be sure you have got your pen, you have got your book, and of course you have your water with you. Because of course there is a lot to take note of tonight. So before we fully dive in, I'd like to let you know that I have a special for those who still till the end of tonight's session. I have a gift that contains 2 videos. One of the videos contains 10 commonly mispronounced words and their correction. The other contains a particular sound that is capable of helping you sound better from tonight. And the third thing that I have in my gift is an audio file. It contains 100, excuse me. The audio file contains 100 everyday commonly mispronounced words and their correction. One of the things I love about this audio book is that you can download it on your phone and listen to it the way you listen to music or any other thing at your convenience. So I want you to consider this scenario. Consider what would happen if you were paid more money for something just because of how you sound. So something you've always done. Let's assume you are an entrepreneur, you're a graphic designer, you're a fashion designer, a teacher, whatever, and you were paid more money to do the same thing you've always done before just because of how well you sound. Or what if you were able to land a dream job without submitting a CV or even going for an interview just because of how you sound? Or perhaps you're able to speak so flawlessly and rhythmically in your Ghanaian accent that your clients and students fall in love with you. I'm aware that some of you might not believe this. The truth is, I never believed I could experience all of this as well. Please, can you still hear me? It seems like the pictures on my screen seem frozen. If you can still hear me, let me know. The pictures on my screen are not moving at all. It's frozen. Please let me know if you can still hear me clearly. Okay, thank you. Dory says network very bad, but Kim says we can. Okay, so I'll just proceed. Sorry about that. Okay, so I never believed it as well. So I know some of you might not believe it until I experienced it. Now, years ago, that was sometimes in 2019, I went to meet my friend. My friend used to work at a TV station then. And then I visited her. We got chatting in her office, and someone walked in asking if I would love to be on the news, if I would love to read the news on the national TV. But then, of course, it's something I would love to, but I do not want to compromise my freedom or my experience in meeting different people via my webinars and online classes. We've been stuck somewhere. So I was glad for the opportunity, even though I didn't take the opportunity. Remember, I didn't go to that office to look for a job. I only went there to visit a friend. So it means that you can get a job without being interviewed. And then fast forward to sometimes in 2019 when I met a lady. Her name is Esther. When I met her, she was a teacher at the time. Though she was a trained pastor, she read mass communication in school and she was already a graduate. But as a teacher, I met her the same. I'm showing you tonight. I shared with her. She implemented it. That's it. Do not just learn. Please implement. I'm going. So she learned, and of course, she implemented, which is what I am back. Let me quickly share my screen again. So back to Esther's story. She learned and she implemented it. And then I told her about the opportunity I had. Of course, the person who told me about being a newscaster, which I declined. Of course, what prompted them to give me that job was because of how I sounded. You should already know that there's a way newscasters are expected to sound on TV, even on the radio. So now they have empowered Esther. I have to introduce her to them. And because she had implemented everything she had learned, she got the job like it was a walk in the park for her. Now, she didn't get the job because I mentioned her to them or because I connected her. No, she did because she has the skill they needed. So if I introduced Esther, even though there is an opening or they needed someone, and yet Esther didn't have the skill that they want, she didn't like sound like someone that they want, or she didn't have what they want, they would not accept her. But because she had what they wanted, it was just easy for them to give her that opportunity. So what did Esther did differently? The first was Esther learned, and you're here as well to learn. So congratulations. Now the second thing she did is she didn't just learn, she practiced and implemented. Now if you go to the dictionary to look for the meaning of practice, practice means something you do over and over again consistently. It is not something you do 3 times a week or 4 times a week or only at your convenience. No, it is something you do over and over and over and over again. Now, when it comes to speaking, speaking is a skill. It is a physical skill. It is more like you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to keep shape. So when you pay your gym instructor, you do not just go to the gym and just watch your gym instructor and expect to get results. No, you get into the act. You do what your gym instructor asks you to do. So it could be on a routine of every morning or 3 times a week or 4 times a week. It depends. But when it comes to speaking, it's supposed to be a daily routine. It's supposed to be something you do every time you open your mouth to speak that particular language. It is not just something you tell yourself that I will do this every morning or every afternoon. No, it is something you should do every time you open your mouth to speak in that particular language. And that was what Esther did. And in 6 weeks, she was able to get herself her dream job. Now, this is feedback from Esther. I screenshotted this feedback from Facebook. You can, excuse me, you can search it for some of us that we are not always convinced easily. So her name is Esther Kalu. You can go on Facebook to search. This is the name of the page you got our advert from, Fluent Speech. So here she said, I have to admit that the testimony I got about my diction coach, Miss Bridget, remember my name, Olubukola R.B. Agbalaya. The B there stands for Bridget. Before we met, and my first impression about the training session exceeded my expectation. Blah, 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 blah. You can read through or you can take a screenshot. Now, here is another testimonial she shared sometimes in 2023. She shared this on LinkedIn. So you can also search on LinkedIn. This was shared sometimes in 2023. Now I want you to focus more on the second red icon there. She had this 3 pin icon. So look at the second red icon where she said, while I waited for the media breakthrough, I attended various training sessions, one of which included the Diction Coach training, thanks to Olubukola R.B. Agbalaya, who mentioned an offer at Core TV. She finally connected me. So what am I trying to say is, I didn't connect her because I had connections. No. First, I got that opportunity because of how I sounded. I only went there to visit a friend. Second, I was able to confidently connect her because she had what she still has it. She has what they needed at that time. And when she got there, she was able to convince them. When it comes to speaking, it is not about your certificate, it is about what you can do. So if you're here tonight and you want to get results, remember what she did. She learned and then practice and implement. Practice when you're alone. Practice with your children. Practice with your partners, with your colleagues, with your neighbors. And implement. Do not be shy. Some people will laugh at you. Some people make you feel bad. But don't feel shy. Continue. You know what you want. So now that that has been established, I also understand that some of you might have previously undergone diction training, yet you have not experienced the desired improvement in your speech. And I would say that that is because you didn't follow the proven formula. So tonight, I'm going to share with you the proven formula. So you might be wondering what the proven formula is, and that is what I will share with you tonight. So what exactly is the proven formula? The proven formula is what I tagged Dick Claire. So if you're right here and you're following me, please type Dick Claire in the chat. Whether you're on YouTube or you're on Zoom, type Dick Claire. Now, funnily, this formula is not something you can find on Google. So you should not think this is some form of Google copy and paste. This is a formula I created myself. I can say this anywhere. You can go on Google, you can go on any browser. You can even use AI and ask for a proven formula for diction. Dick Claire would not be among the suggested formulas because this is something I put together myself, and it's not something I have even published publicly yet. It is just something I keep going through in my webinars. So if you're here, whether you're on YouTube or you're on Zoom, please type Dick Claire. So I can see some of you replying already. Dick Claire. Okay, Dick Claire, yes, without the E at the end. Very well. So let's get started. So remember I said tonight, we're going to learn 3-step formula for my formula, Dick Claire. Now, please note, for this formula, I have 8 letters in the formula. Now, each letter has a 3-step formula. What I mean is the D in Declare has 3 steps, 3 things you must do. The I has 3 steps. The C has 3 steps. The second C, on and on like that. But for tonight, we're going to talk about just the first letter, which is the D. Please take note of that. So we're going to focus on the D alone. So we're going to talk about the 3 steps for the first letter D, and the D there stands for diction fundamental. What is diction fundamental? Diction fundamental is that building block. It's like the foundation of everything you need to learn when it comes to speaking better, pronouncing English words well. So if you do not have a strong foundation for clear and effective communication, what happens is you would speak English and you would have a lot of mispronounced words. But sometimes you might speak English and you sound so funny and fake. So if you do not want to sound funny and fake, then it is important to understand diction fundamental. So what are the 3 steps on the diction fundamental? The first step is clear articulation. The second step is pronunciation rules. And the third step is connected speech. So I'll take each of these one after the other. So let's start with the first step, clear and precise articulation. Now, each language has its characteristics. One of the characteristics or one of the features of the English language that makes it different from our native languages is that there are some sounds that we have in the English language that we do not have in our native languages. Now, for example, look at the screen. The first word I have as an example is M-A-T-H, math. Now, the TH sound does not exist in most of our native languages. So naturally, as a Ghanaian, if I want to pronounce this word, I'll likely say maths. Maths. Please watch my mouth. See what my mouth is doing and try to say it. I will say maths, but that is wrong. Naturally, in English language, when you have T and H in a word, this sound is likely to make 2 sounds. The first sound it might make is the th sound. I hope you can see my tongue. My tongue is placed in between my upper teeth and my lower teeth. Math. Or the TH might sound the. But in this word, the TH sounds math. But then an average Ghanaian will say maths without the tongue outside. That is wrong. Another is Mars. The letter A in this word makes a long sound. Mars. An average person will say mass. In fact, an average person will pronounce these 2 words the same way. Mass, mass. No. The first is math. The second is Mars. Now, the next 2 words we have, the first is pasta. Pasta. It's not pasta. Please watch my mouth so you can see the difference. An average Ghanaian will say pasta, 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 right? The first will make it longer and the second will make it shorter. That is wrong. Now, when you have a word that ends with O and R, most times the O and R makes the shua sound. The shua sound is a kind of weak sound. It is a sound that you do not need to open your mouth to say. Watch my mouth and say, So the word is rightly pronounced pasta, not pasta. I hope you can see the difference in my mouth. So my mouth at the end of P-A-S-T-O-R is not opened. My mouth didn't open. I didn't open it and say pasta. No. Excuse me. I didn't say pasta. No. Rather, I should say pasta. Pasta. Now, the second word is pasta. So the difference, when it comes to the correct pronunciation, the difference between the first and the second is the vowel. Here I have a long vowel. Pasta. Pasta. So I can say the pastor loves to eat pasta, not the pasta love to eat pasta. No, it's not pasta, pasta. No, the last sound there is a weak sound. Not a. Okay? Now, the next 2 words I have, the first is pronounced bird, bird, while the other is bed. An average person will say these two words the same way. Bed, bed. No. So this is bird. The I and R here makes a longer sound. Bird. While this is bed. The normal way we say this, bed. But this should not be pronounced bed. Bird. Bed. So let's go over it again. Math. Mass. Pasta. Pasta. Bird. Bed. Remember, if you want to be like Esther, she didn't just learn, she got results. And she was able to show people that she has what they needed. And of course, she was able to get profit from it. So if you do not just want to learn this, but you want to be able to showcase it for profitability, watch what my mouth is doing and try to imitate me wherever you are. So how was I able to analyze these words? How was I able to know that for the first one, my tongue has to be outside, and then for the second word, I should not open my mouth wide at the end of the word, etc. What I did was to learn the sounds of English. Remember, I talked about the features of languages earlier. Now, there are some sounds we have in English that we do not have in our native languages. One of them is the last sound in past. So naturally, in our native languages, we do not have that sound. Uh, uh, uh. So because we don't have it, we just assumed that it is a ah. So we moved from closing our mouth to opening our mouth. Another is the vowel sound in bird. We do not have such sound in our languages, but we have the sound. So we just ordinarily replace the sound with a similar sound, and that makes it wrong when it comes to English pronunciation. Of course, we can use that for our native languages. We are absolutely correct. But when it comes to English language, we should use the sound of the English. It's just like when an English person is also trying to pronounce your language, they would